and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavor show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take often complex source materials, think memos, maybe notes, legal documents, and we really try to synthesize them quickly into the essential information you need. So today we've got quite a stack. It details three, well, pretty high-stakes dramas that are all intersecting. We're talking reputation, business conflict, and yeah, personal freedom.
Absolutely. Our mission really is to unpack the critical actions people are taking right in these moments of crisis. So we'll see everything from like crisis management in a hotel setting, right through to the details of an imminent legal hearing.
Okay, let's dive in then. And we'll start where maybe professional courtesy meets some very high-stakes journalism, or maybe just a holiday. We're at Greg Gables. Now, for context, this place is really struggling with its image right now. There's been public talk, about alleged food poisonings.
Yeah, multiple ones. Not good PR at all.
Definitely not. And the reputation's taken a hit. So the person in charge of food, Ian, he's now being, well, forced onto the front lines. He has to shadow the porter, Brad.
And Ian, let's just say he's not thrilled. The sources make it clear he's really resentful. He has to do a full shift, to set an example. Yeah, and he thinks he has way more important stuff to do back in his office. He even tries complaining about a guest to Brad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, calls him an obnoxious idiot or something. But Brad, who's clearly a pro, just shuts that down immediately. Like, nope. That attitude is exactly what management needs to lose.
Right, classic resistance.
No.
Ian sees the porter role as, I don't know, beneath him.
Pretty much, which actually gives Brad the perfect opening. He delivers this mini masterclass in professional philosophy.
Oh, interesting. What does he say?
Well, he shares something he learned from Alonzo, a longtime staffer apparently. Brad explains the porter is often the second person a guest meets.
Okay.
So that interaction is fundamental, right? It sets the tone. He says the job isn't just, lugging bags around.
Right.
It's about finding out why someone's traveling, where they're from, making like a genuine connection. And he says that makes the job much more interesting.
That's actually a really crucial point, isn't it? In a crisis like this, that frontline approach, the real connection, it matters way more than some mission statement cooked up in an office.
Exactly. And you can almost picture Ian's face. Brad apparently described it as looking like he'd dropped your wallet in the septic tank. But then suddenly his expression completely changes. Why? Because Brad spots a name on the check-in list. Marty Atkinson.
Marty Atkinson. Okay, so who is Marty Atkinson?
Well, Marty is actually Martina Woodmansey, a very influential food critic.
Oh, right.
Yes. Brad knows her, but apparently she lives just across the road from someone called Scout. He even knows her nickname.
Which is?
Tequila Mockingbird.
Tequila Mockingbird. That's brilliant. Suggests she's sharp, maybe a bit cutting.
Could be. But the point is, if she's checking in, well, maybe she's not just here for a relaxing break.
Right. This flips everything. It's not some pointless training exercise anymore. It's suddenly like live action reputation rescue.
Ian gets it instantly. The poisoning stuff has been terrible press, obviously. But this is a fantastic opportunity. Could do them a power of good. You feel the urgency shift.
So what's the plan?
Action plan is immediate. Make sure she has a superlative experience every step of the way.
Okay, so how does he plan to do that?
He's going to tip off the kitchen and restaurant staff. Basically, pull out all the stops, give her the absolute best Greg Gables can offer.
But subtly, right. They can't make it obvious they know she's, the Tequila Mockingbird.
Exactly. It's a fine line. Though Brad does throw in a bit of caution, suggesting maybe she is just on holiday.
Maybe.
But even so, Ian's attitude, totally transformed. He actually gets the point about the guest experience being multifaceted. He even apologizes to Brad for being sniffy.
Wow. So the pressure actually worked, in a way.
It seems so. An immediate positive result.
Yeah.
Although, the sources mention his next shadowing assignment.
Oh, yeah. Who's that with?
Someone called Mick in security. And Ian's apparently not looking forward to that either. Still thinks that won't be his thing. So maybe the lesson hasn't fully sunk in across the board yet.
Interesting. Okay, so if the hotel crisis is about managing image, like moment by moment, the next drama feels bigger, more structural, like Justin Elliott says, tectonic plates moving.
Yeah, we pivot now to Ambridge and a confrontation between Kirsty and Justin about the rewilding project there.
Where does this happen?
At the hotel, actually.
Yeah.
Kirsty tracks Justin down. Apparently, he'd been ignoring her messages, which is usually a bad sign, right?
Definitely.
Someone named Lillian told her he was meeting someone for lunch there, so she goes and finds him.
And she doesn't waste time, I assume.
No, cuts right to it. Asks him straight up, "Is it true you're selling your shares in BL?" Now, BL seems to be a pretty important local company.
And is he?
He confirms it, just flat out, yes it is.
Okay, so what does that mean for Kirsty's project?
Well, Kirsty immediately connects it to the rewilding Ambridge project she's passionate about. She sees his departure from the board as a potentially fatal blow.
Why specifically?
Because the initial 5-year land contract for the project is coming up for renewal relatively soon. Without Justin on the board, providing that influence or political cover, she's worried.
Worried about what exactly?
She specifically mentions the antis on the board, fears they'll be looking for any way they can to wriggle out of the rewilding commitment once he's gone.
So it's internal politics at BL. A fight over land use, maybe.
Seems like it. A culture clash. But Justin, he tries to downplay her fears, uses that corporate language.
What does he say?
Things like, change is just a fact of business life. Chances are taken, tectonic plates move. He insists his leaving shouldn't make any difference because, hey, they have the 5-year contract already.
But is that real reassurance? Or just, spin? A contract's only good until it expires, especially if the board turns against it.
That's the question, isn't it? He does add that he's keeping his own personal stake in the project. And he assures her that some local things, like a tribute to someone named Peggy and a beaver release, are still definitely happening.
A personal stake. What does that actually mean? Is he protecting his investment or just trying to look good while stepping back from the main BL hassle?
It's hard to say from the source. It's ambiguous. He also does this interesting little move regarding someone called Stella.
What's that?
He brings up that Stella had apparently warned Kirsty to be wary of him.
Okay.
But then he immediately spins it. Uses it as a chance to list all the good things he's done for Stella, basically implying her warning was like unfair suspicion.
Oh, that's clever. Using criticism to actually bolster his own image.
Very clever. So Kirsty's left in a tough spot. She knows the fact. He sold the shares. But she has to operate based on his stated intentions, his assurance the project is safe.
Yeah, the future of rewilding Ambridge now seems to depend less on the contract and more on her ability to navigate the remaining board politics without him. Perception management again.
Exactly. Which brings us quite grimly to our third situation. This one is deeply personal. It's about George, who's in prison, and his upcoming disciplinary hearing. And this is happening just days before he's supposed to be released.
Oh, wow. The timing is just awful.
It's crushing. The sources first detail George talking to Amber about his pony, Bartleby, who has just died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the grief is really heavy. Amber describes how everyone, all the adults, even Brad the porter again, came to say goodbye, made sure Bartleby had his men's honey sandwich, a proper send-off.
And George missed it.
He missed it, and that sense of loss, of isolation, it really hangs over everything else. It underlines how desperately he wants to be out.
So he only has a week to go, you said, and now this hearing.
Exactly. He's speaking to someone referred to as a miss about the hearing. It's set for Monday, 15.30 hours, the charge. Finding a shank, a makeshift weapon in his pillowcase.
Okay, what's his side of the story?
He absolutely insists he's innocent. Says it was obviously planted there, it's revenge.
His logic seems sound, right? Why risk everything literally days before release? And putting it somewhere so obvious.
You'd think so. He makes exactly those points. But then you get the cold, hard reality of the prison system. Mrs. seems to believe him personally. But, she explains, the governor's decision isn't based on her belief. She outlines the actual procedure for George.
Right. What does that involve?
Well, first, the governor checks George understands the charge. Standard stuff. Then they review his written statement. They decide if they need witnesses.
Okay.
Then the crucial part, reviewing the evidence. CCTV footage, body cam recordings. George gets a chance to question that evidence.
So there is evidence involved. It's not just hearsay.
No, there's evidence.
Yeah.
But here's the really chilling part. This is very clear. At the end of the day, the governor makes the decision based largely on whether he or she believes you or not.
Wow. So the video, the physical evidence, it might not matter as much as the governor's gut feeling. their perception of George.
That seems to be the bottom line. The documented evidence exists, but the governor's interpretation of George, his statement, maybe how he looks on the CCTV footage, that's what seems to be decisive.
And the stakes if he's found guilty?
Astronomical for him. Miss says he'll probably get out of days. That could mean up to 42 extra days added to his sentence.
42, that's 6 weeks.
6 full weeks. And George's reaction is immediate panic. He pleads, "I can't do one more day of this." It just highlights the immense weight of that potential extra time based on what could be a subjective call.
His whole future, right there, hanging on one person's belief about ambiguous evidence.
Yeah.
So that brings us back, really. 3 incredibly tense situations we've unpacked. Ian trying to save Greg Gable's reputation.
Kirsty fighting for the survival of the rewilding contract.
And George just fighting for his freedom right at the finish line.
Wow. And the common thread, what does it all mean? Well, in the hotel, the objective food quality seems secondary to the critic's perception, shaped by the porter.
Right.
In the business deal, the objective fact of the 5-year contract seems less critical than the perceived political will of the board members remaining. And in the prison hearing, the documented evidence of the shank seems less important than the governor's subjective belief about George's innocence. Perception trumps reality, or at least shapes it significantly in all 3 cases.
It really boils down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Evidence gives you the facts, sure. But the ability to convince someone, whether it's for your good intentions or, like Brad showed, just shaping their initial experience, that seems to be what dictates the outcome in these crunch moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. In these high-pressure situations, which ultimately carries more weight, the documented proof, the hard evidence, or the more intangible skill of managing perception and persuading someone of your truth. Something to think about.
So what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just moving mics around.
So what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the arches. Any
Are you what we call Foley then?
Kind of. Yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep. That's the bull bar. That's,
this one.
Yep. That's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever